MLB The Show 25 early access starts in just 2 days. So I want to go ahead and make a beginner's guide to Diamond Dynasty for you guys. Now, this is labeled as a beginner's guide, but there will be more advanced things within this as well. So make sure you guys stay around to the end. I'm going to talk about how to make stubs. You guys know right in the beginning, that is a very big thing for the game. So make sure you guys stay all the way to the end for that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into all the meat and potatoes of Diamond Dynasty. So when you first go into 25, it'll look like this. We're going to do this based off of 24. They are adding some new modes that I'll talk about as well, but obviously we don't have 25 yet, so we can't do that. So when you guys first get into it, you're going to go ahead and click into this Diamond Dynasty tab. Now, this should all look very similar. I've seen screenshots of how it's looked so far just in their stream, so it should look very, very similar to this. So when you guys first get into Diamond Dynasty, there'll be this little tutorial you guys will have to do. It'll kind of talk about the different game modes, kind of talk about how to open packs and all this good stuff, and have some moments for you guys to, I think it gives you like a card or two that you guys can get, that you guys can use for your team. So you will have to do that when you first log into Diamond Dynasty. It'll take 5 to 10 minutes. It's super simple, super easy. So once you're done with that, it'll take you to this screen. So right here, when we first get into Diamond Dynasty, you have your schedule on the right there, talking about, all the things that are going to be coming out. Obviously, again, this is 24, so this will be way different when you guys get into 25. Kind of talks about just some cards, some team building stuff, and all this good stuff. So make sure you guys take a look at this when you're guys getting into Diamond Dynasty. They do change this quite a bit, so make sure you guys take a look at that. So this will be the main screen when you guys actually log into it. We have our managed squad screen, customize, our standings and history, and our player updates. That's your home tab. You have your play tab, which is your program, single player modes, and your multiplayer modes. You have your collect tab, which is your inventory, collections, and exchanges. And you have your shop tab, which is the marketplace, packs, and stubs. So obviously, we are going to go ahead and start off on the first tab to talk about the first thing, which is manage squad. As you guys can tell, these are just the same positions on the field that you guys will get your player cards in. And it'll talk about, have your player wheel in the middle there, talking about all the attributes your card has, first base, second base, shortstop, third base. So it has all of your team building things right here. So this is where when you guys get a card, you will put a team together. Now, there are, as of right now, there's 4 different teams you can put together at once. I don't know if there'll be more for that when you go to this current gen console. Maybe there will be some more there. But you can make 4 different teams that however you want to base it off of it. I have a Pirates team. I have a main team. We have all these different teams that you guys can make throughout Diamond Dynasty. And when you guys look, so let's go to catcher here really quick. So this is the screen that you'll see. I have Jorge Posada at catcher right now, and it kind of gives you a look between the 2 cards, maybe which card is better, which card is worse. Trying to give you like just a little quick in-depth thing when you look at their attributes right here. Obviously, Jorge Posada is one of the best catchers in the game, so he's going to have a lot of great attributes over all the other ones. Adley Rutschman, another great one as well. But you can also filter out all your cards here. So if you want to go through name, overall, their handiness, there are captains in the game here, which we'll talk about in just a second here. So you can go through all these good things to look at, all these different cards you have in your inventory. Now let's go ahead and talk about captain cards in MLB The Show 25. So in 24, it was kind of based around different things. So Carlos Santana was a switch hitter, so we're just switching team captain. So if you go to his captain card, the tier 3 boost for him is 13 switch hitters in your squad, and you get these attribute upgrades. Very OP. People did not end up liking this. So what I think in MLB The Show 25, what they've shown so far, so within Team Infinity and my journey, they had Babe Ruth and Frank Thomas shown, and they had a captain tab. They weren't captain cards, but they had a captain tab, which makes me believe that maybe they're getting rid of captain cards and they're just doing it for certain teams that they have. So Babe Ruth would go ahead and boost all attributes for Yankees, which I hope it's more themed like that and not just like a switch hitting captain like Carlos Santana. So hopefully that is what they're looking for in 25. But essentially, you just build your squad. You'll go over here. There'll be this little captain tab that you can go ahead and activate right here. And that is where you'll activate your captains. And you can go ahead and search by what captain boost they do too. You also have your bench. You have all your pitchers right here, all your starting pitchers. And then you have your relievers right here as well. So this is where you guys will, again, be building your squad. That'll be your managed squad screen right there for you guys. Now, the Customize tab has a bunch of different little things. This is where you'll make your team name, edit your uniforms, get your team equipment. You can go into Logo Vault, go and check out new logos. So if I go to my team details, I'm from Iowa, born and raised. Shout out to the Hawkeyes, baby, go Hawks. And this is where I just kind of made my little team right here. And then if you go into your edit uniforms, this is where it kind of gets like, you can do a lot of different stuff with this. There's so many different things you can go in your edit uniforms. People always ask, where do I go to edit my uniform? So it's right here. And you can also put in your logo whenever you guys download your logo from there. So kind of a really cool thing that you can kind of make it your own thing with Diamond Dynasty, and kind of a cool little ad right there for the customization tab. Now going to the standing stats and history, you probably will not spend much time in this at all because it's really not super important unless you're like a sweaty online player like I tend to be. You can go look at all these different seasons, look at the top players in each one of these. So if we go all the way to World Series, somebody Frosty, which is very known in the community, 161-9. He's very good at the game. You kind of just look at all these different tabs within those. You can get your statistics for the cards that you actually use, which this is kind of wild because I really never use this tab until somebody showed me it. But it's really cool to see like how your pitchers kind of line up, how your hitters line up and all this stuff. This would be for online as well. So have a cool little tab to just look at. Got your game history. And then one of the big things that's really overlooked in MLB The Show is the handbook. The handbook has a lot of stuff in it. If you guys are wondering what an attribute does, why it does what it does, it is a really, really cool thing to look through. If you guys have time to do it, kind of talks about XP, the ranked season. If you guys really want to go in depth with this stuff, this is some good stuff that you guys can really go into and spend a lot of hours in, honestly, if you guys want to. And then lastly, we have our player updates. So supercharged players, you guys don't know what supercharged players are. It's pretty much like if somebody has like a 3 home run game, they supercharge that card and it's their live series card, so it makes it a lot better than what it actually is. So say just for fun, Jake Berger is a live series silver card. He has 3 home runs. They'll go ahead and boost a lot of his attributes, his contact, and his power to make him like a 9 overall, and then he's just a really good card to use and just somebody that you guys can use and you guys want to. They usually do this quite a bit, especially in the beginning of the game, so make sure you guys are trying to get those players on our team because they'll help out a ton. Inside edge is, I guess they won't have much in here right now, but inside edge is where, say you have DeGrom facing like Mike Trout or somebody like that. If DeGrom is known to dominate Mike Trout, he will get this inside edge boost where he'll get a little plus to his attributes. So his per 9 showing, you know, that he just plays better against Mike Trout. Now, let's say Mike Trout is facing, I don't know, Jose Quintana. And Mike Trout is known to be really good against Jose Quintana. He'll get a boost for getting home runs or, you know, just getting hits or whatnot. And it goes way more in depth than that, but that's kind of like a surface level of it. So make sure you guys keep a look at this tab because it does change quite a bit. And then last, we have our roster updates. So these are, I think, every 2 weeks or so throughout the season. And this is just based on how the player is doing in real life. Shohei Ohtani had a great year, so he had all of his attributes kind of get boosted throughout the year because he's that good. Fernando Tatis got better throughout the year, and all these cards will just either go up or down depending on how they're actually doing in real life, which I think is a really cool thing in MLB The Show. Now we're going to switch over to our play tab, which has our programs, single player modes, and multiplayer modes. We do have 2 modes new to this year in MLB The Show, which we'll talk about here in just a second. We're going to start off with our programs. Programs are kind of, like I said, the meat and potatoes of MLB The Show. These are where you just do things within MLB The Show and you get to earn all these different packs. Right now, here's a season reward path that we have. It's going to be different in MLB The Show 25. I think they're going back to inning programs. So that'll be really cool. But you can just earn a lot of cool things just by playing the game. Then we have team affinity. So in years past, they've been doing all these division teams, which I didn't really love. But now they're going back to just certain teams. So like it'll be its own for Baltimore Orioles, Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees. So they'll have all their own separate things. It's a really, really fun thing to do. This year will be a lot different, especially. But if you go into it, they just have these things called moments, which are just like these little moments you guys can play within Diamond Dynasty, earn some TA points. You have these different missions that you guys can do, and you guys can play in like pretty much any other Diamond Dynasty mode you guys want to. Like I said, it'll be just based around one team. So you have Orioles missions. So the Orioles missions could just be doubles, singles, triples, all the good stuff with that. And that'll be its own team affinity right there. It looks like they are getting rid of, at least as far as we've seen in the different streams that we've seen, especially for Team Affinity, there were no vouchers for mini seasons, and player exchanges were not in Team Affinity either, which I thought was really interesting. Showdowns and Conquests were not there either, or was March to October. So I'm not sure how that's going to work with Team Affinity, if they're going to try to change it up, but it seems like these are no longer tied to Team Affinity, which I think is kind of weird. Maybe we'll talk about it a little more. As of right now, we don't really know much about it, but keep that in mind as you guys are grinding. So a lot of it will just be stat missions that you guys can use. But Team Affinity is always a really fun thing. It's always a cool thing within MLB The Show. Now, last we have our other programs. So these are just programs that are going to be running alongside whatever's going on in Diamond Dynasty at that point. So if we go to out of season and we start all the way at the bottom, these are some of the first programs within MLB The Show. We have our spring breakout, which I don't know if it's been confirmed yet, will be in MLB The Show 25. I assume it will. But this is kind of just like a cool thing to start your team off, kind of revolve around the spring breakout, some of the cards from that. But all these different programs, again, they're just gonna have little things you guys can do and have some good fun with. The Easter egg hunt was a really cool thing. They have a bunch of like hidden things that you guys had to do. That was always a crowd pleaser within MLB The Show. And then we have these things called season awards, which are changing to spotlights. So essentially it's like cards that did really well within that entire month. So Garrett Crochet in the beginning of the year had a really, really good month. He struck out 8 batters and 16 pitch on opening day. Obviously very good. And then you're just kind of grinding a bunch of things within that. Spotlight is a really big, crucial thing to MLB The Show, or say season awards as it has been that. So make sure you guys are doing that. And again, they're just a bunch of different things you guys can do with these programs. They're pretty easy to do as well. They're nothing that's too crazy besides the extreme program, which if I can find that really quick. The extreme program is always the hardest program to do because it is all these extreme moments that they want you guys to do. I'm probably going over it somewhere. It's somewhere in here, but that's to be the toughest program you guys will have to in Diamond Dynasty, which you don't have to do any of these if you don't want to, but I do think you guys should. Oh, here's extreme right here. And the rest of it was Ronald Acuna Jr., which is obviously a really cool thing. So keep in mind, programs are very important in MLB The Show, so make sure you guys are doing it. Next thing, let's talk about our single player modes. We have mini seasons, Conquest, Showdown, and Play vs CPU. Again, they will be adding Diamond Quest as well, which would be a very fun thing you guys should be doing. First off, we have mini seasons. If you guys go into this, is kind of what it'll look like. You kind of just build a team. You play 28 games, regular season games. You try to win a championship. It's kind of like a shortened franchise, I guess, but with your Diamond Dynasty team. It is against a computer as well, so if you guys like to do that, you do that at your own pace. It's a lot of fun. You guys can go ahead and run that. We have Conquest, which is kind of like Risk. So you essentially try to take over the entire map. You just attack, you steal their fans, and then you play games against the computer when you actually face their strongholds. I will probably have a full in-depth video about this. It's kind of been the same thing for years, so not really much to talk about with that, but there are a bunch of rewards you guys can get from it. We have Showdown. So Showdown is where you draft a team. You get this thing called perks as well, where it kind of makes your team a little bit better. And you essentially just face these different bosses that you need to beat. You have to get maybe 2 runs against this boss, and you move on to the next one. It progressively usually gets harder. Again, and kind of a little fun thing to do. It doesn't take that long to do either. It's usually on pretty lower difficulties, so kind of just whatever you guys want to do with that. And with this Play vs CPU, which again is pretty standard. All you do is play the computer at what difficulty you want to. Have some fun. You guys want to grind Team Infinity that way, or grind any program, you guys can do that as well. And then finally put in the thing called Diamond Quest, which is kind of like all of these modes put together. It's a roguelike game, which you have to make all these different turn-based, while you roll a die and you have all these different turns you guys do. So if it's kind of like Conquest where you're moving around, but then you also have these things called moments, and you have Showdown in between there that you guys can play these different little things to get all these cool rewards. It is repeatable and it changes every single time you guys do play it, and everything is sellable in it. I highly suggest that Diamond Quest is one of the first things you guys play, because I really do think that you'll get a ton of rewards for it, and I think it will be very OP in the beginning of the game, and they might nerf it a little bit, just kind of looking at it. So make sure you guys are doing your Diamond Quest. I think that'll be very, very important to start off MLB The Show 25. And then last, we have our multiplayer mode. So if you guys want to play online with your team, this is where you're going to do it. You have ranked, battle royale, events, play versus friends, and casual. They do have a thing called Weekend Classic, which is like Weekend League for Madden, where you play a certain amount of games. You get these different kind of rewards for. That'll be really, really cool as well. So let's first off talk about ranked. This was the most competitive mode, or is the most competitive mode in MLB The Show. It goes from veteran difficulty to all the way to legend, but now within MLB The Show 25, they have GOAT difficulty, which is going to be tougher than that. I assume if you're watching this video, you probably will never play it that high difficulty, and you never have to if you don't want to. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of scaled to that way. But ranked is where you'll use your team that you use in the managed squad screen, play a 9-inning game against somebody, and then depending on whether you lose or you win, you get these different ratings. So rating right there is at 400. The more you win, the faster it goes up. If you lose, it goes down as well. As you guys kind of scale too, if you guys are playing ranked seasons, it does progressively get harder. Starts on veteran difficulty, and depending on what rating you're at, it'll keep going up. So like I said, it does go from veteran all the way up to GOAT difficulty. There's also a program tied to this depending on how many hits you get, all these stat missions, all this good stuff, and how many wins and whatnot. So keep in mind with that, some fun stuff to do. Also, you can do co-op wise. Co-op will be separate with the rating wise, but you kind of still have a similar program within that. So this is where you can go ahead and play with your friends, have a good time. It's always a lot of fun. Highly suggest playing a lot of co-op with friends because it is a really good time. And the next we have Battle Royale. Battle Royale is where you draft a 26-man roster. You'll get a certain amount of diamonds, golds, silvers, bronzes, and commons. And you'll be able to build your team around that. I am a huge Battle Royale player. That's kind of what I'm known for. I go flawless a lot. I had 52 flawless this past year, so I know exactly how to draft. I know what you guys should be doing. So we'll have a video on that as well. Again, this is a 3-inning mode that you try to get 10 wins straight on. And once you get to that 10th win, you get a really cool reward and a high stub count. So really fun to play, especially if you want to get a little sweaty and online. Next, we have events, which I think is the most casual mode out of all the online modes, where I think if you guys are a beginner, you guys should be starting here. It's usually always on All-Star. It's a 3-inning game that you guys can just build whatever team you want to. It's kind of like Ranked Battle Royale together. Not very sweaty. You just kind of have fun. So this one right now is the Moonshot event, where you use common pitchers against really good hitters. So they'll have a bunch of these in MLB The Show 25 that they kind of really carousel around and have a bunch of different events that you guys can do. So you guys are new to online, I definitely would start with your events, because that is kind of the lowest tier of online in MLB The Show. Either play versus friends and casual are kind of just the same thing, where you just play against your friends, have a good time doing it. And I usually don't spend much time in here, but if you do, have some fun with it. It's a lot of fun. And then lastly, we have our weekend classic, which is just like the weekend league kind of in Madden. So what you'll do is you'll use your ranked rating. So say I get a 700 in ranked rating, that'll get my placement for the weekend classic. This is where you'll play 6 games to get all these really cool rewards. And any game above that, you get put into a leaderboard. So say you get #1 overall in the 700 rating, which would be on Hall of Fame, you get some really cool rewards. It's a lot of packs, a lot of stubs. So I definitely think you guys should play it if you guys want to. It also tiers down too. So say you get to only 300 rating, it'll be on veteran difficulty. So if you guys want to do it, it's going to be a lot of fun. Don't take it too sweaty if you don't want to, but if you want to get super sweaty, you can go to 1,000 rating, playing gold difficulty. It'll be very, very crazy. Now, if you tab over, this is the collect tab. This is your inventory. So these are all the things that you guys are going to be earning throughout Diamond Dynasty. You have your player tab, which kind of goes over every single player that you guys can get in MLB The Show. You have all your equipment, which is going to be a little bit different this next year. It's not going to work the same as it did in 24. You guys don't really need to worry about this in Diamond Dynasty because you can't really do much with it anyways. Sponsorships, again, don't matter in Diamond Dynasty. I don't really know why there even is a tab for it. You do have your unlockables. So these are things that you can do within Diamond Dynasty. These are some jerseys you can unlock. You have different sounds at stadiums you can unlock. This is where I have my flawless banner. So I'm 20 times flawless right here, but I have 32 10-0s right here. So if you have those here, I get 52 of them. Just different icons and stuff that you guys can get within Diamond Dynasty. Kind of just like some cool little things that you guys can do. They have the stadiums as well, which I think you get every stadium besides the legend parks, which are going to be in the game. So keep that in mind. You should get every whatever stadium that like MLB stadium that are in there. And you have your packs. I'm just going to rip up a pack real quick. It's a ranked program pack. But yeah, that's just like a little pack that you have. That's where you guys can go ahead and look at all your packs and whatnot. Then next tab, this is another very important tab. It's your collection tab. This is where if you collect players, you'll get a bunch of stubs and a bunch of really cool things from. So if we do our first collection here, this is what it'll look like in MLB Show 25. You collect these 2 things and you get 250 stubs. And it just kind of scales throughout the entire year. You have your finest, you have all this good stuff. So make sure as you guys are going, you guys are doing these collections. They are pivotal to MLB The Show. And you essentially just continue to get better cards over the year. Like, get a freaking Aroldis Chapman. You get all these cool things. You get chase packs, vault packs, all these really cool things. So highly suggest make sure you guys stay active in these things. In the live series, which is always kind of the coveted thing. We don't know the live series as of this point. I really think it'll be Ted Williams in MLB Show 25. But essentially, this is going to be like the best card in the game for a very, very long time. So it is really crucial to get the live series stuff done. And try to get it done before there is an update to the rosters, because it changes a lot. It makes it more expensive. So just make sure you guys are doing that. But that is your collections tab. And you have your exchanges tab, which I don't really do much with, to be honest with you guys. You can exchange your silvers, your golds, your bronze cards for better ones. I only use it for Battle Royale because we're used to exchange the Battle Royale tabs. And then they also have these little things too. I don't know if these are coming back to only show the millionaire packs or whatnot, so I'm not really going to talk much about them, but that's your exchanges tab right there. And then lastly, we have our shop tab. You have the marketplace, your packs, and your stubs. So opening night, if you guys get into it and you don't get your pre-order bonuses, this is most likely where it'll be. Sometimes I don't know why it doesn't show up right away, but this will be if you guys ever want to buy stubs or if you guys want to get your pre-order bonuses right there. Again, your packs, you can buy packs from the store. It's never usually a great thing to buy packs. It's always a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, but usually in the long run, it's always better to buy the card that's in the pack than to actually rip open the pack. And then we're gonna take a little time here in the marketplace. This is where I want to tell you guys how you guys can make stubs in MLB The Show and just have, you know, pretty much get to a point where you guys can get any card you guys want to. So you guys go in the marketplace, you have MLB players, equipment, perks, sponsorships, unlockable stadiums, and my orders. These are kind of the same things as your my inventory tab, where you guys can look at pretty much the exact same things. Again, sponsorships don't really mean anything. Unlockables don't really mean anything, especially in the marketplace. Equipment seems like it's been getting nerfed year after year. That was the really big thing that a lot of people did maybe 2 or 3 years ago, where you can just sell equipment, buy equipment, and just make a ton of stubs off of. It doesn't seem like it's really going to be that way this year at all, but we'll have to see. And if you guys look at your orders, these are all my active orders that you guys have within your all your complete orders. You can actually look through every complete order you've ever had in MLB The Show, which is really cool. But let's go ahead and talk about how the marketplace actually works. So if we're looking right here, we have Juan Soto, who is a 99 overall. He has a buy now price of $61,990 or a sell now price of $23,092. So if I go ahead and click on the buy sell options, I can go ahead and buy him for 60,000 stubs, which is a lot of stubs. Or if you guys want to, you can put in a buy order. And if it's $23,092, I would do $23,100. And then I'll essentially get the card for 37,000 stubs cheaper. Now there is a little tax, and there's like a 10% tax, so it might be a little less than that, but I would never, ever, ever do buy now for a card. There's just no reason to ever do that. You're just wasting stubs in the long run. Always try to do a sell order or create a buy order and kind of go from there. Now, on the Switch side of it, you can do your sell now. So if you're getting tired of maybe somebody, you're just kind of getting outbidded over here, right? Now, there's a huge gap right here. It's not usually that huge in the beginning of the show. But if you're just getting tired of it, people keep, you know, outbidding you. We can just do a sell now right there, and then boom, he's already sold right there. You don't have to worry about it. But you can also put in an order right there where if it's 59,944, we'll do 59,900, and then hopefully they will take that. Somebody will end up buying that, and then you made a little profit off of that. So that's kind of like how you guys can work the market. Now, you don't want to do it on diamond players. What I usually do if I'm ever doing this is if I filter, I usually always start out with gold cards. Gold cards are kind of the best in my opinion because they're not super high overall, but they move pretty quick. So gold will be between 84 and 80. I think it should be the same in 25. I'm not positive, but it should be about the same. Look at something like Tim Anderson right here. These splits will not be this big in MLB Show 25 when it first comes out, but there will be a good couple thousand stub split that you guys can have with this. So what I would do with Tim Anderson, I would go into here, I'll create a buy order for 810 stubs. Finalize that. I would wait for that to get sold to me, and I'll go around. I'll go back here. I do 17,890 as a sell order, and I just made a quick 16,000 subs just by doing that. And this is something that you want to do over and over and over again, and that's how you build up a big stub count. And that way, you guys can kind of get whatever player card you guys want to. It's a lot of fun to have a lot of subs. You can spend them how you guys want to, and you can get a really good team by doing this. So I suggest spending some time going to the marketplace, trying to get some stubs from that, but also in the beginning of MLB Show 25, just do what you guys want to. If you guys don't want to do this, you don't have to do it. Kind of play the game how you want to play it. All in all, that is my beginner's guide to Diamond Dynasty for MLB The Show 25. If this did help you guys out, please hit the like button and please subscribe down below. If you guys have any comments or anything or any questions about any of this stuff over Diamond Dynasty, I will get back to you guys as soon as I can. And hopefully you guys just enjoy MLB The Show 25. It sounds like it'll be a great time, and I hope you guys enjoy. Other than that, guys, I will see you in the next video. Peace.